diolch yn fawr iawn am y croeso cynnes. Mae'n dda gweld cymaint o bobl ifanc yma, pobl dwi'n gobeithio sydd eisiau gwneud gwahaniaeth i Gymru. Mae wastad yn bleser dod i'r rhan yma o Gymru, a gai ddweud mor bwysig ydy ailethol Hywel Williams fel aelod seneddol Arfon, mwyn pobl Arfon ac i weithio dros Gymru. I've appeared behind a number of podiums during this election campaign, and I'm sure I'll be behind a few more before the campaign is over. But nothing beats being here in Wales and having yet another opportunity to put forward Plaid Cymru's exciting vision. The Party of Wales wants to create a Wales that includes all of the people who live here, whatever their language, colour or creed. Plaid Cymru recognises everyone living here. All are full and equal citizens of our country. And we want everyone to contribute in whatever way that you can to our project of building a new Wales. So this election is about what we can do for Wales and how Wales can matter for all of us. These are the first proper multi-party elections at a UK level. The combined support for the two old parties has never been lower. The old politics has been shaken to its core. But just as importantly, these elections are the first ever multinational Westminster elections. What do I mean by that? In elections that have come before this, the nations of the UK have featured as little more than an appendage to the Westminster agenda. Our needs, our aspirations, our circumstances have never been a factor at UK general elections before. In this election, we've made sure that the multinational nature of the UK is reflected in the campaign. To people across Wales, I say this: Plaid Cymru has proven that we can make Wales matter at a UK election campaign. Give us the strong mandate we require now to ensure that Wales matters in Westminster every single day after May the 7th. Now, people across Wales have responded very warmly to the message of hope that I have conveyed in the TV election debates, and I have sought to fly the flag for Wales at every single opportunity during this campaign, and I will continue to do so. Today, I want to take the opportunity to talk about three broad and interconnected matters that are crucial not only at this election, but for the coming decade and possibly even more. Firstly, the economic framework that we can choose to pursue in place of cruel and unnecessary programme of austerity measures. Secondly, how Plaid Cymru's vision for rebalancing power and wealth applies not just to the UK. Redistribution of wealth and opportunity is also a principle we want to implement within Wales. With Plaid Cymru, all parts, all regions of our country will benefit from opportunities and investment. Our vision means that all communities have a stake in Wales's success. Devolution from London can't stop at Cardiff Bay. There must be a devolution dividend for all of Wales, for all communities. This is especially the case for those communities that are furthest away from the capital. Wales is a community of communities, and Plaid Cymru wants flourishing communities in all parts of our nation. The north of Wales is at the heart of Plaid Cymru's vision for a vibrant, renewed Wales. Thirdly, for too long, in Wales, we've overlooked our greatest national asset, our people. And in particular, I want to share with you today Plaid Cymru's vision for young people, the generation that will be our future. Plaid Cymru wants all of our young people to have a choice as to whether they stay in Wales. We want to make sure that there are outstanding career prospects here for you. We want to ensure a good quality of life, and we want to ensure that you are able to be a member of a strong and secure community. For too long, so many people don't see staying here in Wales as an option. Our greatest asset has therefore often been our greatest export. This must be overcome. One of the defining issues of this UK election has been the state of the UK's finances. For Plaid Cymru, our approach is centred on two principles. That the financial health of the UK can only be achieved when it can be built on a healthy and balanced economy. It's not possible to do it any other way. That's why some commentators have warned that we risk levels of investment so low that they'll take us back to the 1930s, a time before we had social housing or the National Health Service. Our second principle on public finances is that Wales must not be disadvantaged in comparison with Scotland. It's bizarre, although not surprising, that no other party operating in Wales advocates parity of funding with Scotland. Plaid Cymru is used to being the only party fighting Wales's corner, and we won't shy away from the fight. On the general issue of the UK's public finances, let me tell you this. Plaid Cymru is serious about reducing and eliminating the deficit. We do not accept that this can or should be done on the backs of those with the least, or by suffocating businesses, or by dismantling our treasured public services. This is what austerity is. The ideologically driven shrinking of the state. It's the stifling of recovery in the vain attempt to balance the books. As Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman has said recently, when the current British government came to power in 2010, it imposed harsh austerity, and the British economy, which had been recovering from the 2008 slump, soon began slumping again. Plaid Cymru and our colleagues in the SNP propose a modest 0.5% real-term increase in departmental budgets per year over the next financial term. This has been described by the National Institute of Economic and Social Research as being fiscally sustainable. Our proposals mean investment in schools, in hospitals and local services, those treasured services that people value so much. By using the Office for Budget Responsibility's own projections, under Plaid Cymru's plans, the UK's debt will fall as a percentage of GDP. We'll bring down the budget deficit to a sustainable level of under 2% of GDP by the next election, and we'll achieve this without slashing services and without the further punishing of the poorest 10% of the population who've suffered the most from austerity. The economy is forecast to grow at 2.4% on average. This means that spending, while increasing, will slowly reduce as a proportion of national income. Plaid Cymru believes that government spending can and should be a force for good, for building strong communities, for quality public services such as hospitals and schools, for healthier, more sustainable public finances. For every 1% extra growth in the UK economy, there will be an increase of £700 million in tax revenue, which will all go towards helping to reduce the deficit. For every pound that the government spends on infrastructure, an additional £3 of economic activity is created. Businesses boosted, more people employed. Less demand on the welfare budget, more taxes paid into the treasury. The economy starts moving and the public finances get healthier. Fiscal consolidation through careful investment. Plaid Cymru wants to fix the roof when the sun is shining. In the meantime though, it's pouring down with rain and we need to put a bucket under the crack in the roof to save society and the economy from an austerity flood. By giving people, businesses and public services the breathing space of a modest increase, we can begin to rebalance the economy. So what does rebalancing the economy mean? What does it look like? It means moving away from an economy built on sand, that is the banking sector in the City of London. A sector that, when faced with collapse, needed hundreds of billions in a bailout from us, from the people. It means growing in sectors where manufacturing and exports can be boosted, so we finally close that 30-odd-year-old trade deficit. And of course, rebalancing the economy geographically too. It means bringing an end to an economy that allows wealth creation on Ynys Môn to be 12 times lower per head of the population than parts of inner London. That's part of the reason why Plaid Cymru is arguing the case for Wales to have parity with Scotland. Because Wales has been inadequately funded for the best part of 40 years. Now, last year, the three London parties promised to keep the unfair funding formula in place in perpetuity, at least as part of their ditched attempt to stop Scotland from voting yes. Now, that signalled an end to Plaid Cymru's patience in waiting for Wales's needs to be addressed by Westminster, because they've locked in the Barnett formula. And now, Plaid Cymru says that Wales must be treated as an equal. Allow me to put this into some perspective. The UK government will spend £740 billion this year. Let me say that again. £740 billion will be spent by the UK government this year. Currently, the Welsh Government receives around £16 billion of that spending. All that Plaid Cymru is asking for is that just over £1 billion of the remaining £724 billion is added to Wales's budget, so that we have the financial means that are available to others elsewhere. Parity of resources, nothing more. Why should Wales settle for any less for any longer? An end to austerity for the UK and an end to the underfunding of Wales will provide a solid foundation for healthy public finances across the UK, and it will provide the basis for Wales to flourish. That could mean adequately funding our NHS to overcome the crisis seen today in every part of Wales. It would facilitate resources for our universities and research vital to the Welsh economy. It would give the Welsh Government an opportunity to support young people, not only with university fees, but also with further education training and apprenticeships. It would enable our local authorities to provide essential services for sick and disabled people and older people, and it would enable investment in our housing stock to reduce housing costs and to improve our carbon footprint. We must get the balance right for everyone on these islands. We in Wales must too be alert to the dangers of an imbalanced economy and democracy. We can't afford to replicate the mistakes of the UK in centering power and investment in one corner at the expense of the rest. And that's why Plaid Cymru could not support spending every penny of Wales's borrowing capacity on one stretch of motorway in one part of the nation. There are more affordable ways of easing the problems of the M4, and there can be benefits to all Welsh taxpayers by investing in major projects throughout the whole country. As leader of the Party of Wales, I am fortunate enough to get to visit all parts of our wonderful country. And in particular, I do love coming to this northern region of our country. The north of Wales and its success is crucial. Without it, our nation will be unable to move forward as one. I know that the prospects for the north, linguistically, socially, culturally and politically, rest with this area getting its fair share of resources. I believe that this area's best days are ahead of it, although we can be very proud of its inventive, pioneering past. A native of Ynys Môn invented the pi symbol. A daughter of Denbighshire, Martha Hughes Cannon, pioneered women's and children's medicine, although sadly not in Wales. David Edwards Hughes, whose roots were in Corwen and Bala, invented the printing telegraph. And Ivor Williams trailers from Corwen are a feature of the European map, let alone here in Wales. The north of Wales is an untapped modern asset with a proven record in innovation, business and invention. That asset cannot go untapped, especially as it faces, as I see, two important challenges. First, the emergence of a northern powerhouse in England with significant financial clout, infrastructure investment and fiscal levers. Secondly, a Labour government in Cardiff Bay that has shown little or no appetite in delivering a devolution dividend for the whole of Wales. Plaid Cymru wants a northern powerhouse for Wales. Our basis for building a northern powerhouse for Wales is threefold. Prioritising infrastructure investment in the north, such as the electrification of the North Wales main line, a third bridge across the Menai, improvements to major roads and rolling out fast broadband access. Secondly, I'm announcing today that Plaid Cymru will introduce plans for roving and permanent niche Welsh capitals. We'll consult on how this can be achieved and we'll publish our final plans in our manifesto for the National Assembly elections next year. Our vision is for population centres across Wales and especially in the north to benefit from being Welsh capitals of culture, arts or finance, for example, on a permanent or on a roving basis, such as the model for the UK City of Culture, or along the model that you can see in France, where towns and regions become known for being home to a specific area of expertise or significant national importance. By opening up the opportunities for towns and cities across Wales, we can spread the prospects for all communities to benefit from Wales's national success. Thirdly, Plaid Cymru will introduce legislation when we lead the next government of Wales to enshrine the opportunities for all parts of Wales into law. In our Northern Powerhouse Bill, we will enshrine in law strategic aims for our government that will include per capita job creation in the north to at least match that of Wales as a whole, increase per capita income in and within the north of Wales so that it's in step with the rest of the nation and the EU average, develop and improve infrastructure on a continuing basis and ensure a fair share of national investment in infrastructure for the north of Wales, ensure a fair share of government contracts come to companies and small businesses are helped to compete for such contracts. After all, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and together with the tourism and agricultural sectors are vital for our economic success. Secure and strengthen the linguistic and cultural character and the natural environment of the region so that it is inherited by future generations, whilst at the same time making it clear that our doors are open to everyone from whatever part of the world to join us here and help us build the new Wales. When Plaid Cymru says we care about all parts of Wales, we mean it. When Plaid Cymru says we are serious about rebalancing power and wealth, we mean it. This brings me to my third and final theme of today's lecture: our commitment to ensuring the next generation of Welsh citizens experience greater opportunities and a better start in life than any other generation gone before it. Plaid Cymru's vision is for our young people to have the option to stay here in Wales and find well-paid work, an outstanding quality of life, and access the means to constantly develop professionally and personally. 3,600 young people in Wales have been out of work or training for 6 months or more. Plaid Cymru's Youth Guarantee Scheme will provide work or training for every person under 25 who has been out of work or training for 4 months or more. Plaid Cymru is very concerned about the savage cuts inflicted on Wales's further education institutions. Last year, an additional £26 million cut was unleashed on this sector, which will impact on lifelong and adult education courses, but also courses for 16 and 18-year-olds. Part-time courses have been particularly hit hard, ending for many the possibility of professional development as they work and removing the means for people to upskill. This is the bleak inheritance Plaid Cymru wants to avoid, and is yet another case against the politics of austerity. Slashing such opportunities now will make the next generation struggle to compete in a global economy where skills are the most important determining factor. And for Plaid Cymru, the Party of Wales, lifelong education and training should be a right. It's why we will, when finances allow, abolish the tuition fee system at university level. It's not feasible at the moment, and in the meantime, we will target support and incentives to groups and those studying subjects of immediate need to the Welsh economy and Welsh public services. Subjects like those required for key healthcare posts and those studying science and technology. We want Wales to have a tuition fee system similar to Scotland. It is possible. But I also know that there's more to securing a good quality of life for young people than work and study. Plaid Cymru wants to reinvigorate our democracy in Wales. I witnessed firsthand the democratic revolution that occurred in Scotland last year when people of all ages, of all backgrounds, seized back the democratic process for themselves from the establishment. It was a democratic engagement that took over the airwaves, the common rooms, social media, and public halls. Whilst that democratic revolution remains broad in terms of the age groups involved, it has at its heart a youthful spirit. I spoke to a number of 16 and 17-year-olds in Scotland who had the right to vote for the first time. And I know that young people here in Wales have the same yearning to shake up the system as those young people had there. To all of the young people in Wales, I implore you, make your voices heard. The old way is on its way, and it's up to you to shape the politics for the new Wales. Plaid Cymru is committed to our youthful democracy, including and celebrating the youth of our country. We need your vision, your idealism, your energy, and we'll make sure that next year's National Assembly elections are the last where 16 and 17-year-olds are excluded. We'll broaden the franchise to make Wales's Parliament reflect the youthful ambition of our nation. Plaid Cymru is more than just a political party. We are a movement. We have at our core a vision of a Wales that is socially just, economically fair, environmentally sound, and politically free. Plaid Cymru is determined to pull Wales's communities together in common cause, north and south. And we'd like you, all of you, to join us and help us do it. I'm reminded by the eloquent intellectual Raymond Williams of that determination. Speaking in the 1970s, Raymond Williams said this of our movement and our country. In Wales, we've always been aware of the deep differences between industrial South Wales, rural North and West Wales, and the very specific border country from which I myself come. We don't get past it by inventing a pseudo-historical or romantic Welshness. Indeed, that would only divide us further. We get past it by looking and working for unity in the definition and the development of modern Wales, in which the really powerful impulses to discover an effective modern community and take control of our own energies and resources can be practically worked through. This is what I mean by saying that the national movement, while it can be seen from one position as working to divide, must be seen from another position as working to unite. Friends, that sentiment is as pertinent now as ever. Our movement is still on that journey, and as we walk that journey together, I invite all of you to get involved. And I mean all of you, wherever you're from, wherever you're going. Help us build a new Wales and establish a new agenda for everyone in these islands. It's your future that we want to shape. It's your inheritance that we want to secure. You have a stake in it, so come and build it with us. Diolch yn fawr.